So let's go ahead and take a look at what makes her one of the best sprinters of all times. Allyson Felix is in lane number 2, and I'm going to compare her to the woman to her left who is in lane number 1. So there's pretty much 2 ways of starting, coming out of the starting block. So Allyson Felix kind of does a bunch start. So as you can see from her body position, she's really close together. When sprinters start out bunched up like that, that means they're going to be very explosive coming out of the blocks, but that doesn't necessarily mean they'll have a long drive phase. However, the woman to her left, she's kind of spread out, meaning this is going to help her kind of be more relaxed coming out of the blocks, but she's able to carry herself a little bit further down the track. So there's pretty much 2 ways of sprinting. So let's see what happens when Allyson Felix does a bunch start for her. So at her setting position, one of the great things that I love about Allyson is that she's using the whole entire block pedal. Some sprinters, and I know this may seem crazy, but some sprinters actually don't utilize the whole blocks. For the reason for that, I have no idea, but we definitely want to utilize that. The meaning behind that is you want to propel yourself forward, you want to be aggressive, you want to set your race up very well. So Allyson does a great job here. Let's go ahead and look at this initial movement coming out of the blocks. Now I'm going to change colors here because she looks amazing. It's kind of hard to see, but this foot is actually dorsiflexed and her back leg is over here. So she's pushing herself out of the blocks. This is a great start for her. And her foot is also dorsiflexed, like I said. So this is going to help her be very close to the track. So as you can see here, she's only a couple inches above it. That means she's not wasting time in the air, which is great for sprinters. We want to have that contact with the ground as much as possible to help yourself propel down the track. Let's go ahead and look at the touchdown position. And that angle looks great. She is on her toes. That calf is engaged, which means she's really moving forward coming out of these blocks. If you look to the lady to her left, she's almost flat-footed, not completely. We want to be able to stay on our toes as much as we can as sprinters. So Allyson Felix looks really great here. Let's see what she looks like coming 5 meters out of the track. And right now, she's still on those toes. That is great. She's coming out of her drive phase, and we're only a couple seconds into this race. Maybe 5 meters is where we're looking at right now. So I want her to look like this position, probably 20 to 30 meters down the track. And again, it all comes down to the start. The lady in lane 1, she's still driving. So just depending on what you're looking for coming out of your blocks, you want to be able to propel yourself down the track a little bit further down. But Allyson Felix, this is her 3rd race back. So we got to cut her some slack a little bit. But let's go ahead and look a couple seconds down, a couple notches down the track, and her arms are really engaged. She has this chin to hip action. You can see in her face that she's gritting. That means the aggression is coming out of her. But her body angle looks really good. She's still on her toes. She's not flat-footed. So this is great work for Allyson Felix. Let's go ahead, move further down this 150-meter flat track at the Great North City Games, and this is a picture perfect here of Allyson Felix. Really looking beautiful here. Her hips are up, which means she's not sinking into her hips, which means she has those quick turnover muscles going on, but she looks awesome. Let's go ahead a little bit further down. We're probably about 50 meters or so, and her arms are still pumping. She's actually not in the lead yet, so she really has to put in that work. So this is where those hip flexors will really come into play and really help her a lot. But again, those hips look really well. She's up. She's not sitting down. She's not butt kicking. This feet is dorsiflexed again, which means she's just going to be pounding down the track in lane number 2. Let's go ahead, come across a 50-meter point at 6.41 seconds, and right now she really has to fight. But Allyson Felix is not like a pure sprinter, as crazy as that may seem. She's really strong in the 200 and the 400 meters. So despite her not having the greatest start, you can definitely see with Allyson Felix that she's able to propel herself further down and can really close the gap. So she's starting to do that now, about 50. We're close to about 100 meters now or so. But right now she's starting to butt kick, and that spike is facing upright into the sky. So we really don't want that to happen. We want to actually see the whole entire bottom of the spike plate as much as we can throughout the track. As you can see a little bit, she's starting to have that heel action. This could be because she's pressing. She has about 50 meters left to go in this race, and she wants that win. So, you know, her form can be coming out of play a little bit, but we just got to make sure that those butt kicks aren't happening to prevent injuries. But let's go ahead and get closer to that finish line, and you can see her arms are really starting to pump. She's really engaged. She hasn't given up. She hasn't quit. She's still fighting all the way through. Not quite the finish line yet. So right here, we have the finish line. She's definitely about to come away home with her very first victory post-baby. So let's go ahead and cross this finish line, winning her first title in the 150 meters at 17.36. We had no wind whatsoever. Her personal best is actually a 16.36, so she's only off by a second. Pretty solid. Knowing the conditions, you can kind of see people in the stands and on the ground. They're wearing some sweaters. We have this photographer wearing jeans and a long sleeve. So I can only imagine that the conditions are a little bit cooler here after this race, and we get this beautiful smile from Allyson Felix. So she's really happy, got her very first win. But like I said, despite her not having the greatest start, which is something that she'll have to work on, but she has a whole season, and also moving into 2020, she can definitely focus on that. For the remaining of the season, Allyson Felix will actually be packing her bags in just a couple weeks to be going to Doha for the World Championships, and she'll be running on the 4x4 relay. So definitely stay tuned to that. It's really exciting to see what she can do, knowing that she's been training throughout this whole pregnancy, is looking really solid, and I know she'll make a huge impact on the USA team. So stay tuned to the site for more telestrations on your favorite track and field athletes.